Welcome to the Chris and Sam podcast. Pull up a bar stool and join us for a random conversation, guaranteed to make you think or your money back.
Hey guys, welcome to the Chris and Sam podcast. I am one half of the podcast. My name is Sam, and today Chris is missing in action. He is doing some work-related stuff, and no doubt we will hear about that next week. Instead, we have an interview we did with Will from Podfellas.com. We recorded it in Chris's car, so the audio isn't the best, but the conversation is really good. This is a little bit different. If this is the first podcast you have listened to from us, this is not how we normally roll. Please check out one of the other 38 podcasts at thechrisandsampodcast.com. Check us out on iTunes and leave us a rating. We would like that. This is a little bit longer than normal as well, so keep that in mind, but hope you enjoy. Thanks.
Okay, and welcome to the Chris and Sam podcast. You're here listening.
It's a character. You don't talk like that in real life. Okay,
what the hell?
I know.
I'm getting hassled here.
He's learnt the trick. We're in the car park. We're in Chris's car. And, we're in a car park. And all these people keep coming and going. And there's another car.
And they're looking at us. And we're with a very special guest that we've... take the hood off his head. Come on, let him speak. Get that gag off him.
There we go. That feels better. Which one of you is Liam Neeson out of Taken? Chris,
look at me. Look at the jacket. Look at the jacket and the nose.
and Chris knows karate, so you know.
Yeah. So we've got with us a very special guest, Will Fleming.
Hi, team.
We invited into the car.
Yeah, we didn't need candy for that. That's good. Are you actually recording? Because
this is all recording.
Okay,
this is all recording.
I feel sorry for all these people that are trying to get a car park. Yeah, hold
yeah.
on.
These people keep.
Again. Move on. Yeah, put the hand up. There you go. Sweet. Thank you for letting me podcast with you guys. Give a bit of context. We've been having a bit of a chin wag about podcasting.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's like a what do you call it? Imagine we were alcoholics, and we had to kind of. You know,
it's an AA meeting for podcasters.
It's an AA meeting. We're venting about...
I don't think it went very well because we all had a beer. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, the beer was good. that was good. So what have you got, Will, for our listeners? What do you do? Tell us about your podcasts, current ones.
Here's my thing, guys. I have a big problem with, just before I go, this is like, Will's been saving this, yes, finally someone can hear it.
My wife won't listen to me, but I'm allowed to talk to two weirdos.
Exactly. I've got a big problem with how people communicate in general. I think everything's shifting towards like the Facebook status. We're all trying to say everything's going awesome.
Yeah.
And no one acknowledges when things aren't going quite good.
Yeah.
That's what I admire about the Chris and Sam podcast. Like I was saying to you guys, the first episode I heard, you straight out said, you know, we're either in between work or we're looking.
Yeah.
And I think, like, no one says that on Facebook, like, don't have a job. That's never a status update.
Well, no, to be fair, it isn't Auckland. it might be in Waikato.
Don't have a house.
I can't afford a car park or something.
So that's kind of half of my personality. The other half is that I changed from driving to work to catching the bus. Now, when you catch the bus, what do? You know, you're looking for something to get you from A to B. I started listening to classic hits, moved on to the sound. All of them just gave me the shits. You might want to cut that out.
No, that's all good.
But the problem is they weren't really talking to me. They were talking about me. They were pushing me to a message. They were just giving me a song, and that was the good bit. So I thought there must be something else out there that can kind of tickle my brain. So I started saying, what do people listen to from getting to A to B? And podcasting came up. I said, what the hell's that? And I think that's a valid question because a lot of people don't actually know what it is.
I'm just trying to think how I got into podcast. I have no idea.
That is a good point. I heard about podcasting from marketing people that were doing that. I'm gonna wind down the window a bit. We've got a bit of fogging up.
It looks like the scene out of Titanic. You know, where a handprint goes on.
Yeah. It's getting a bit intent here.
It's just since I started telling my life story. Apologies to your listeners.
So anyway, you're commuting to work.
Yeah.
You've learnt, Google's told you this thing about podcasting.
So I download a couple, right? And here's the thing I realised, people are just talking. And it surprised me that everyone on the bus was silent, but everyone was probably listening to people talking. So that's just a weird thing that I haven't acknowledged in life yet. But what were they talking about? Nothing spectacular. They were just talking about life. And I thought, sweet, all right, so Kiwi podcasts. I thought, let's do that. Nothing. So I thought, why don't we have them? Because I can only hear so much American stories. You know, I want to hear our people talk about our stuff.
Yep.
And then I thought, F it, I'll do it myself, and then I can listen to my own podcast on the bus. So that's how it kind of started. I started these podcasts with a friend of probably both of our shows, Sash Nixon, and me and him just caught up talking about, you know, random stuff and our love for Superman. We won't get too deep into that, but it moved on where I thought maybe the secret for me is to help me with this weird thing I have about life that everyone's only trying to show one side. I could what do they call it when people offload their problems on others?
Yep.
But what if they were well-known people?
Whinge? Is whinge?
Yeah. No, that's a podcast show. Yeah.
Whinge.
Will's whinge. Will's whinge of the week.
Weekly whinge with Will. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Sorry, Carol.
And so this whole idea that I'd go talk with well-known people or interesting people and just say, right, talk to me like when you were like me, like when you were searching for something. Don't tell me how cool you are. I know that. I've seen the movie, I've seen the TV show, I've heard the song. Talk to me like when you were battling to try and get into your passion, how you found your passion, etc. And so I guess that's just kind of how I got into it, and then I'm still on that road. Now I'm
What's that podcast called?
So it was called Off the Record, and I hate that name, but I changed it to the Podfellas podcast.
Right.
And basically, on that show, what you'll hear is me probably talk too much about myself to guests. But the feedback I've had is that people like it. Well, one person likes it.
Yeah, mum's a person. Mum's a person.
Sash's mum.
Yeah, Sash's mum. We're used to that as well. Sometimes we get feedback from one person.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about how we started, if you like. Because I heard about podcasting because I follow lots of marketing stuff. And I learned about podcasting as another marketing method. That's all it was, right?
Yeah.
But so I spent hundreds of dollars back when I had work.
Thousands of dollars.
Thousands of dollars.
Is this Tony Robbins stuff?
On courses.
Yeah, I have no
all
idea.
sorts of courses. You have no idea.
Thank you for letting me
But I
into your life.
spent a load of money on this podcasting thing. I was like, oh yeah, I've learned all that. You know, like I didn't do anything with it. I just read it and watched the videos and shit. And then I met Sam through the social media club in Hamilton, which I was helping to organise at the time.
Yeah.
Which I still help to organise, but I
Social
just
media
hadn't
club?
organised. Yeah.
Is it for uni?
No, it's social
It's a
media clubs all around the
international.
world.
Oh, sweet.
And they have one in Auckland. Actually, it's really good for networking. You'd like it.
Yeah, you should definitely go.
Check them out on Facebook. And,
But
they
we
have
haven't been doing anything this year at all with the
Hamilton's
social
been
media
Slack, and we haven't done
club
anything.
Is
because
it like the social media thing Sash does where he uploads nude photos of himself?
not that sort of
to get
social media.
hits?
No.
No, that's social media users get together and talk about social media tools or events.
Yeah, we get a speaker in and stuff like that.
Yes.
But anyway, so I met Sam there, and we would go to the after dinners, and Sam and I seemed to be competing for the best stories. Really, we would tell stories at these things.
Yeah.
And so that's how I met Sam. And Sam's like, we have to do a project together.
Nice.
And I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. Weird, hairy dude.
I don't know if I was that hairy back then.
Yeah, I think you were. And this happened for months. And then he goes, right, we're going to do a podcast. I'm like, oh, yeah, I was thinking about doing a podcast, but I had no idea.
And it's like, what are you going to do it on? I said, I don't know, just be us talking.
I was telling stories because that's what we do. And I'm like, okay, that sounds good. So that was the birth of the Chris and Sam podcast.
It's excellent. It's can I just say, can I review your show live on your podcast?
Yeah, because we can edit it later.
Yeah, I'm not holding any weapon next to his head either.
Yeah.
No, what I like, guys, is that, and I'm sure we've already talked about this, others have given you feedback, it's the perfect time to get from A to B. It's everything I want in a podcast. I don't really mind whatever you talk about. I think it's just take me away from what I'm doing at that moment, which is living in Auckland, stuck in traffic. You get used to it, but it doesn't mean you like it. So things like I don't want to underrate your show, but perfect for being stuck in traffic.
Yes.
Perfect for doing the dishes.
We need to advertise it. Number 1 for doing dishes. 2. Number 1 for being stuck in traffic. Go on. What else?
A little bit of toilet time when you just get home.
Okay, yep.
Because I don't know what it's like for you guys, but when I get in the door, I've got a wife and kids going for me.
Yeah.
Give me some attention. I'm like, I've worked it out. My body's helped me. That I time it at 7 o'clock. I'm toilet time. 15 minutes. I can normally get through the intro of Chris and Sam, hear a couple funny stories. Chris, pause. Do dinner. Right, I'll do some dishes. I'll do the dishes. See, so you're helping save marriages, guys.
We're helping save marriages, one marriage at a time. Actually, just one marriage, really.
Actually, maybe just one listener.
Who's a big fan. He's worked his way into the car with you guys.
Yeah.
We don't just invite anyone into the car.
But
mind the stains on the seat there.
it's everything that I think podcasting is, and the problem with that is that I'm sure we overthink it, like most things. Are we doing the right thing? Are we hitting our audience? But I can tell you, being your audience, you don't have to really change too much. I think if you wanted to take things to another level, you'd maybe create a different forum, which I think you guys are doing with your filmmakers one.
Yeah.
But one, it's great for your audience because we get to see you guys grow and hear your stuff. And I don't know why humans, and maybe that's a different conversation, why are we so fascinated with others' life? Like
we're gregarious, like as a species, we the whole communication thing evolved because we want to communicate, we have to communicate. It's that living in packs type evolutionary thing that we do. So I think this is just the next way of doing that. But yeah.
Do you guys watch Game of Thrones? I'm sorry to...
I love Game of Thrones.
We are up to speed with Game of Thrones.
Is that some freaky, can I say this word? Shit, you can cut that out. Did we just watch someone get... Oh, spoiler alert?
Yeah.
No, we're all up to date.
Okay, so
yeah.
what about for the listener?
No one
this will be a while away.
This is just... Okay.
Actually, some people we know don't watch it because... What is so boring? Why would we watch it?
No.
Are we talking about Flatmate again?
I didn't say that. You did.
But the thing is with that show is that I don't know really why I'm talking about it. I guess what you've jogged my mind is it Joffrey? The king everyone thought was a dick up until now, where we've replaced him with the dude who burned his daughter. He's like, Joffrey was a good guy compared to him, right?
I've read the book, so I'm really annoyed about that whole Stannis thing.
But they shift the focus on who you think is a dick. Right. And
although Jon Snow, Lord Jon Snow, the Twitter handle Lord Jon Snow, he tweeted a picture and it had a photo of Stannis Baratheon, and it said, either you die early as a hero or you live to become the villain. And I'm like, yep, long enough and you will become a villain in that thing. So
did you see the hashtag, was it hashtag Game of Thrones food?
No.
So I entered the game, right?
Yeah.
This is my one. I don't know how you guys will feel. It was Jon Snowcone. So there you go.
Yeah.
But why I brought it up is because, Chris, you're talking about what is it that... Well, I kind of brought it up, like most things. I ruined the conversation. What is it that makes humans kind of want to follow each other? And Joffrey, he had this... you know how people give speeches at university, Oxford or whatever? He did a speech about celebrity, right? And the funny thing about his one is he was talking about we used to live in smaller packs, which that's what jogged my memory, smaller kind of communities. And what would happen is the person who could do something really well in that community would become like a celebrity. So if you were really good at like making a nail, it was your job to show everyone else how to make a nail.
Yeah.
But the weird thing they picked up on is, say you had a tick, right? Say you do 2 whacks of... doesn't work for the podcast, eh? Say you do 2 whacks of a nail to get a certain shape. Just for some reason, your tick is, your own personal tick is to wipe your forehead. People would watch that. They would then take it to their village, tap, tap, wipe forehead.
Yeah.
And he said that's the problem with celebrity, is it's still the same instinct where we're watching that person like a Lindsay Lohan or a Justin Bieber. We want to be that, but their ticks, which just happen to be a dick to people.
Yeah,
drugs. We can't help but associate the same thing. So that ties me back to my fascination with humans, and I don't really know.
I love that story. I have a better story for next time you want to share that story. So I used to teach karate, and knife hand, sto. You're breaking things.
Yeah.
You tuck your thumb in like that, and you keep your fingers straight. That's the idea. That's what you should be doing.
Showing us his hand.
But
thumb tucked in.
I can't bend my thumb. I can't without the fingers. Like if I bend that happens.
We can do it.
Everybody in the world can do it except me. So I do it like that, and as a result of me doing it like that, because that's as straight as I can get my fingers, everybody in the class has their fingers like that. Whereas they can all do what you just did there. I just can't do it.
So is that a genetic thing, or
it must be, because it's same both hands.
Oh, okay, you haven't injured.
Can you do the Spock?
Yeah.
Okay, what about this one? Listeners at home, try this, okay? Your left hand.
Left hand.
Everyone look at your left hand. Okay, now look at your little finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now bend that little finger down.
Yeah.
Is every other finger straight?
I can't go that far.
Okay, so you guys can do it. Now do it on your other hand. Here, I'll hold. Oh, you go.
That's a bit harder. Oh no, I'm alright.
Okay, you're one of the chosen ones.
Okay, so
look at you.
Okay, so I don't know. I can do it on my left hand. I can't do it on my right hand.
Oh wow.
So how does that?
Yeah, that finger's sticking out a little bit there.
And just to end this weird part of the conversation,
because this is the weird part of the conversation.
Totally.
I had a friend who could keep his finger straight and bend the end bit down.
Ooh, from the last knuckle.
So I can't do that, but I was so fascinated, I taught myself.
How long did it take to learn to do that?
Weeks. Hold on a minute. Move on. We're podcasting.
No, he's there's a traffic spectre.
Okay.
Sorry, that made no sense.
People outside. Well, just to recap, we're in a car.
Yeah.
We're in a car park with a lot of cars going past and people going, ooh, that car's going to move out. No, it's not. We've got microphones going. I've got a headset on. And I'm facing the wrong direction.
We're doing finger movements. all visual things.
Who can bend their finger like this?
Yeah. This is an audio podcast with visual. Oh God.
Yeah. So that's a bit about me, guys. You know, like I'd like to think that I'm like everyone else. I just am kind of at the time of my life, mid-30s, where it's not all about doing wicked dances on the dance floor, even though I still aim to get a wicked dance.
Yeah.
It's just about trying to work out where I fit in everything. What do I believe? What don't I believe? Like, I'm interested to see where you guys stand on that. Like, it gets very deep very fast, but here's my analogy, right? Well, I stole it, but I'll take it. Do your own research.
We'll believe you.
I think when we look out to the universe, it's like a goldfish looking out of its fishbowl at us. It can't comprehend what the hell it's seeing.
Yeah.
It doesn't even know, first of all, what are those arms and legs it has? Why is it so big? How come it's not in water? And I stole that, but anyway, I'm not revealing my source, okay? But that made sense to me when I heard that, because we're all searching for something, right? Surely we're all searching for something, but when I look out there, I'm like, what's there? And the problem with the internet is it tries to give you answers, but it's like the typical internet answers. If you have a pain in your shoulder, you've either pinched a nerve or you're having a heart attack.
Or you've got a bowler.
Or you've got a bowler.
Yeah. And some of us find those answers. I find mine usually at the bottom of the bottle.
I can attest to that.
Folks, if you're out there looking for answers, that shouldn't be where you go to.
No, I don't recommend it.
Remember what I said about Joffrey? Don't teach them bad things. I can do a karate chop and drink. But that's a big part of my life, and podcasting is helping me with that. Not that, hey, let's not get this wrong, I'm not like down or anything, but it's just a way for me to kind of communicate and ask these questions and find a bit more about others.
Yeah, I think everybody looks for and finds a way to express themselves, right? And that is the reason, in my mind, that social media has taken off so much, because it's given everybody a really easy way to express themselves with very little
barriers.
There's no barriers. People don't really care that much. You're not going to get a lot of negative feedback as opposed to jumping on stage and singing or something, which I got a lot of negative feedback last time I did that at karaoke because I suck. But
isn't that the whole point of karaoke?
Well, I don't know. Apparently I suck more than the average.
Okay.
So anyway, so I think everybody's looking for that opportunity to express themselves, and podcasting is another way of doing that. And it's good because you can do it under your own terms. You can do a lot of different things about. You decide what your topic's going to be. You decide who you're going to do it with. You decide, whether it's going to be fun, whether it's going to be serious, whether it's going to be in depth or just light, or whatever, somber, gory, juvenile, should we say?
Possibly,
as some people do. I
guess I'm not that much of a deep thinker. I think I just usually just roll with what's happening and
that's fine.
Go with it. But I completely agree with what you're saying about podcasting. I think it's just because it's so accessible, and I think it's just going to get bigger. Like, I've told Chris this before. I remember back in the day, I was the man that everyone knew that could download movies. Back in the day, I was the guy that everyone came to at my work and were like, "Have you got this?" And I'd be like, "I can get it." And then I'd have 50 packs of DVDs rode up, burning overnight. I'd be getting up every hour changing DVDs, thinking about contemplating buying a multi-DVD burner with 10 trays in it, and and this is like on possibly dial-up, moving into semi-fast internet. I don't know what speed it would have been.
Yeah, the old 1.2K.
But it was like,
128K.
I've got to download this movie. It's going to go all night. The computer's tied up for the next 16 hours.
But you were okay with that?
Oh no, yeah, because that's how it was. And now,
that was your identity too.
But now everyone can download a movie. Everyone knows how to do it. I can download a movie. So just like that, here we are podcasting. There's 3 of us in a car. This is about 1/20th of podcasters in New Zealand sitting in a car right now. And give it 2 more years, and every man and his dog will be like, "Oh, I just made a podcast."
And I do wonder about that, because I sort of wonder if we want to make it too easy. Because Will and I, we were all chatting earlier, and Will was saying, about issues with the technical side of things and making things happen. We've had our issues as well, and I sort of like the fact that it's difficult, because it's a barrier to all that other competition at this point.
Yeah, you're correct, but just going back to the movie things, there's still DVD shops catering to whoever, I don't know who that is, but they're catering to those people, and then you've got downloading and streaming. So I think the podcasting is starting now, and then you're going to have really highly edited stuff, and then whatever the future will bring, and I think we'll move along with that, and everyone else will just be doing I've just recorded something on my phone.
Yeah. If we do well, I one of my plans has always been to do a live video feed show, the Winning in the Tron. I got the domain name for that.
That's one of the many that Chris has.
I've got rid of
he's harvested.
Chris, run us through some of the web domains you have.
Some of them are so weird you won't know what they are. Go, Chris, go.
Arts Profits, 3 Steps to Success, 3 Steps to Salon Success, Cowboys and Zombies, cowboysandzombiemovie.com.
Cowboys and Zombies? Just in case, carry on.
There was a film script we did years ago. Zombie Mosaic, zombiemosaicmovie.com. Far out. I had 35, and I've whittled it down to about 6 or 7 now.
Do you stockpile domain names, Will?
No, I didn't mean to stockpile any of those. Those were all projects I was going to do, which I mostly never did.
All the domains I have actually have websites and things working on them. Yeah. Except for the laughofchris.com, which I should be building very soon.
That needs to hurry up and happen, eh? We've got fans out there.
I have started archiving all the laughs. So I've got about 20 tracks at the moment in the folder. I just got to go to all the old episodes.
That album's going to go aluminum.
What about like a way where when we do like a podcast like convention, or we do like a live show, right? And we have all of our podcasts going back to back. That'd be awesome. That'd be cool. But what about you can get in if when we send you a message, your ringtone is the laugh. That way we're databasing their number, and we're getting to hear your laugh.
Yeah, it's win-win.
You can't like fake that. You have to download it. You're getting a stat.
Do you know what I actually want to do? I'm going to get a Raspberry Pi little computer. I'm going to build a tweetbot, learn how to do that, and then every time anyone hashtags the laugh of Chris, it's just going to play a random sound file, and we'll have it hooked up to the Bluetooth speaker at home, and it'll just be going like 24/7.
Folks, I'm observing Chris right now, and I can't work out if he's happy or he looks like he wants to bring that slightly bent karate chop onto my face.
This is the face where he looks at me and goes, "My God, I can't believe he's thinking about doing that," and he will probably do that face.
I know, he frickin' would too.
As a fan of your show, can you just please clarify? Is this how you guys do it? Is this how
The creative
normal,
process?
yes.
Okay, so you're not just acting cool for me. This is actually how you do it in real life.
This is cool. I don't know who your role models are.
Yeah.
Henry Winkler is no longer cool.
Jump the shark.
What would it take for a podcast to jump the shark? I feel like Neil before pods jumped
Chris
the shark.
doesn't understand the concept.
I don't
of
know
that.
what jump the shark means. What the hell?
When it gets to the end of...
Why don't you tell us what you think it means?
What do you think it is?
Sorry, this is your podcast.
No, that's right. It's good.
Somebody hurtling along the beach and jumping over a shark. I have no fucking clue.
It's close. It's not bad.
It's pretty close. So basically, Happy Days.
Yeah.
It just went on for so long they didn't really know what to do near the end. So Henry Winkler jumps a shark, and that's
and a motorcycle.
no
Skiing,
water skiing.
Oh right.
In the show, and that's sort of like the term of when something gets so crap at near the end of its life, it should just stop.
Yeah.
So
a show jumps the shark.
jumps the shark.
They
So
Right.
when would a podcast jump the shark? When there's only like incoherent mumbling, or
What about when
When they start talking about doing a website about somebody's laugh, I think that's probably the point at which
No,
it's probably
that's
over.
No, that's the start of greatness, and I've said this to you before. That's the point when we're like, remember when I built that website and it just started making all that money, and you're just like, oh my God, yeah, that's right. I should have been more supportive.
in a film they'd call this the inciting moment.
Yeah,
Right.
Where something interesting is about to kick off. And what they don't say in that moment is, does the character feel happy or not? So you're the character, Sam. Chris, doesn't matter, because both names, you can't see me anyway who I'm talking to. I'm going quiet for a second because there's a lady just getting out of her car. So
Yeah, she's wondering what's going on.
Yeah, no, she doesn't care. So, yeah. All right, moving on.
Still recording, eh? Your recorder's still recording?
Yeah, we're at 26 minutes.
You'll enjoy this when you go back and listen to this episode. 'Cause
Yeah.
you'll think, one, man, Will's creepy because he might just be a real psycho who's really into it. Like I said to you guys, it's legal stalking. I can
It
catch
is.
up once a week.
Oh, yeah, because so he comes straight up to us in this pub we've never met.
Yeah.
You must be Chris and Sam. Yeah, sure, right. And, he goes, yeah, so you've moved upstairs now, eh, Sam? You don't live downstairs anymore with the garage and the thing. It's like, yeah, this is starting to feel a bit weird. Oh, yeah, we've said all this stuff on the podcast.
Yeah. But in saying that, we don't say everything on the podcast. Like, we do, there's some things don't talk about.
It's a good question though, right?
I should hope so.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, as much as Will knows about us, there's, it's not a day by day.
But it is an interesting phenomenon when you meet somebody you've been listening to on a podcast and you do have that connection, you feel like you know them. Like, that's the thing I think that makes John Campbell so popular with his audience, is that he'd been there in their lounge every week for God knows how many years, 10 years or whatever, and people almost feel like they know him.
He is, I've got a story actually, and I've got to dig this picture out. He is the nicest man in the world. So I won free tickets to the Hamilton V8s when that was happening in Hamilton, and we were in a corporate lounge, and I think it was 10 o'clock. They opened up the little bar, and I was allowed to drink as much Jim Beam bourbon as I was allowed. So I was a little bit intoxicated.
As you were allowed.
Well, I don't know. No,
You said you'd find out how much am I allowed by drinking as much as
I think
can.
they stepped in at some point, and I was just like, whatever, and I wandered off. But anyway, we were walking around behind, because we had pit passes as well, so we went to the back of the pit passes, and John Campbell's there. And I start yelling at him. And I'm
as you would, Sam.
well, Chris has probably witnessed this when I talk to people. I'm like, John Campbell! John Campbell! And he's like carrying the cameraman's tripod, this giant tripod on his shoulder. And he's like, hey! And he goes, hang on! And he turns around, and John Campbell starts screaming at Carol Hirschfeld, who was his co-host at the time. Carol, come here! And she comes over, and he puts the tripod down, or I think he's still holding it, and he goes, come stand next to this guy who wants a photo. So I've got a photo of John Campbell on one side of me holding this giant tripod, and Carol Hirschfeld on the other side.
Can this be the artwork to this episode or on your show notes?
Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes.
Definitely put that in the show notes. That's pretty excellent.
Yeah. You might not recognise me. I've got no facial hair in that.
So you probably look 12. That might be why. Might be why they cut you off the bourbon.
Yeah.
Hey,
that was a good.
That Tommy Tippy cup is not fooling anybody. You got bourbon in there, don't you?
Yeah, it was great.
Can I tell my John Campbell story?
Yeah.
Now I'm not trying to be a dick and one up you.
No.
And Chris, this is a chance for you to think about your John Campbell story.
Okay, right.
And I'm just going to say
on TV.
I think your listeners should email in their John Campbell stories.
Yes, John Campbell stories. We want to hear them.
Oh, I should have started with mine because mine's the lamest. Oh, anyway, carry on.
So, again, I'm trying not to be a dick.
No, you're fine.
No, dick away.
Right.
I mean, yeah, whatever.
I used to work for John Campbell, right?
Yep.
At TV3. I was his promo guy.
Right.
He would give me the footage they've shot for the day, and I had to try and sell it to New Zealand. Now, it was weird for me because what's a promo? It's like a mini trailer, right?
Yep.
But normally in a trailer, and I think you guys hinted at this on the Neil Before Pod episode you cross-pollinated with, which is like 6 weeks old. Anyway, doesn't matter because this is on demand. Fuck, what was I saying? So it was something about the idea that he would give me this thing and I'd make a little trailer. The best thing about a trailer is you can bullshit your way through a trailer, right? You give a false narrative.
Yeah.
But with news and current affairs, I didn't realise you had to tell the truth. So how the hell do you sell something while telling the truth? It's a hard thing. Anyway, it was the Kim.com case.
Okay.
The footage got released of the raid.
Yeah.
TV3 got the footage, they gave it to me and they said, "Here man, make us a promo out of this." And I said, "Sweet." It was my second week there. So I went full movie mode on it.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, tonight on Campbell Live. And basically what I effed up was, police call signs that they have on their walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
I didn't know the judge said to TV3 MediaWorks, "You're not allowed to use those call signs. They're off limits."
Yeah.
But I was 2 weeks in. No one I think someone said they told me, but I don't remember hearing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I put it all in. Like, I had this big moment with with music, and I was like, 271, the gates are open, we can go inside. Anyway, this promo went out. I think the show rated all right. Next day I get this call, "You better come to work." And I was like, okay. So I rock up and everyone's kind of looking at me, when you're in trouble.
Yep.
Remember when you're in trouble as a kid?
Yep.
And all they didn't say was, but they were thinking it. So I walked down to the boss's room and he gives me a bollocking and he said, "We're in real deep shit here." And I said, far out. I don't know what to say. And he said, well, it just stopped. This conversation stopped. I said, "Look, let me go speak to John and apologise in person." I thought it was the best move I could do, right?
Yeah.
So I went down to John Campbell and
He goes, "Who are you?"
well, he knew me, but the funny thing about John Campbell is he calls you double name, so it would be Sam, Will, Chris.
Oh, right.
But you can't say John to him because you're the idiot, You say, "G'day, John." It just doesn't work. You can say JC or John. So I walked in the office and I said, "John, I need to have a yarn with you about what happened." And he said, "Come in, Will, shut the door." So I came in, I shut the door. He said, "Now sit down." So I sat down, and I can't quite describe it for the audience, but what he did is he turned his swivel chair around and put his hand on both my knees. So it'd be like that, if that's your knee, on both my knees, and he was looking at me in the eye.
That sounds like a weird move when you're talking to someone, to put your hands on their knees.
I think what he was trying to do is say, "Look, I'm here for you.
Okay.
We're going to go over some hard stuff."
Right.
But it's back to that human thing. That's why I love him. He looked at me in the eyes and he said, "Did you mean to do it?" And I said, "John, I honestly didn't mean to do it. I was just trying to promote the show. There's probably an email trail of saying don't use call signs. I made a mistake." And he said, "I'll bat for you, mate." He went back to the judge and he said, "A human error," which it honestly was. All the feedback said, like Fox Media, conspiracy, it all came out, the worst bits of humanity. But I was that guy who had made a mistake. And that day, John Campbell batted for me. I got a warning, like an official warning on my second week. And I ended up staying for like a year and a half and was part of the team. Remember when Campbell Live beat 7 Sharp for the first time?
Yeah.
That was like my promos, and I was like, yeah. But the funny thing is, when it goes well, no one says you did a good job.
Yeah.
When it goes bad, they always say, "Come on, man, you need to sell the show better."
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my John Campbell story. So, in essence of John Campbell, I think the best bit about him is he swears like a trooper. If you could somehow work that out into a show, ratings gold.
All right. So I feel really silly now because I mentioned that John Campbell thing earlier today. I had no idea you ever worked for the dude. You know, when I said he should totally make his own like online show and do on demand and stuff the TV.
Have you got
studios.
a John Campbell story though? Did you
No,
see it?
not now.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be a dick.
Yeah, no, but that's interesting. It's so funny now because we had that really deep talk the other day on the phone, and I'm giving out sage advice. So this is what Chris does. Chris goes on and talks to people and gives out sage advice and ideas all the time.
The funny thing with Chris is, though, Chris will say all this advice and people are like, man, this man knows what he's talking about. It's just Chris being very confident sometimes.
But
Yeah,
that's good.
but yeah, and I was like, now I'm like, oh, dude, Will does this for a job and does that, and I shouldn't be giving him advice
No, you
on
should,
crap.
I think it doesn't matter what anyone does. I think we all feel the same stuff. Am I doing it right? Am I on the right path?
And everybody does have a different perspective, and I think it's always good to hear from everybody's perspective because it informs your own, and you can. It's always the hybrid between way someone looks at it and someone else. It's that middle way that will be the gem, I think. So I'm not shy about telling people what I think.
This is a deep podcast.
It's deep. This is probably the deepest it's ever been for us.
Chris and Sam Pod has gone balls deep today.
Yeah.
Yes. In the Beamer. Gosh, balls deep in the Beamer.
Whoa.
Is that the name of the podcast? We're going to edit that shit out. Like,
No, I don't know if I will now.
I think you should leave
A
the
lot
whole
of
thing.
no, a lot of the time Chris will be like, just edit that out. I'm like, yeah, I've edited it out. And then because I know he re-listens to it like later on, he's just like, you didn't edit that thing out. I was like, oh no, I didn't. Or I put in the laugh track. He doesn't know it's in there.
yeah, he put the. He goes, oh, you're going to love the intro to the thing. I'm like, what are you talking about? 3 days later, I get round to listening to my own podcast.
You didn't hear the Easter egg, Chris and Sam, well, Chris's laugh, that I put in Neil before pod? Did you hear the Easter egg?
Yeah,
I'm going to show you. I don't know, you guys might have to pad it out for a second.
That's right, we can cut it later.
So basically I said to Sash when we did an episode of Neil Before Pod, let's add Chris's laugh in, but let's not do it so obvious.
Oh, I heard you say that, but I haven't actually heard the...
Okay, so it's in an episode called The Man Who Loved Lois, and let me see if it will stream. Let me see. Oh.
okay, I'm bracing myself for this.
Don't brace yourself for it, you know what it is.
So it's downloading. Oh no, this is the worst idea I've ever had on a podcast where I can't deliver on saying stuff. Basically, you wouldn't know it's there unless you're really listening for it. I'm just
awesome.
trying to get... Wait,
That's
I know
good.
where I can get it. Sorry guys, once again.
No, you're all good.
Ruining your whole show.
Fine, we can edit everything about the laugh out of
Or
this
you could just
episode and
leave
it'll
it
be
all
under
in.
30
We
minutes.
could, yeah.
And
Fine.
the listeners will be like, I'm almost at work, folks. Come on, hurry
Yeah.
up. Okay, so here we go. Wait,
Don't upset Ben.
this needs to work.
It's 37 minutes at the moment.
That's right.
Don't upset Ben. Here we go. I've totally built this up way too much.
Yeah, you have.
But we'll cut a lot of that silent stuff out.
Or you leave it all in.
No.
Here we go.
For visiting podfellas.com.
Oh wait, I'll fast forward that. You don't need to hear that.
Was this the intro or the outro? Intro.
That's the intro, yeah. I stole the guy from Transformers, the young kid.
Yeah.
You want. No, trust me.
Is that in the intro?
It's kids.
Yeah.
And cut.
It's in the music.
Give me the money. You owe us.
Get out of here, kids. Man, those kids. I love them, but they
Is
do
that
ask
playing
for a
you
lot.
cut it
Anyway,
out?
that's fine. Welcome, folks, to the only podcast that asks you,
This is
that's
me
right,
pimping
you at
my own
home, sitting,
podcast on
touching
your
yourself on the
podcast.
computer
Yeah,
right now
that's
to get
Inception
freaky
stuff
while
going
we,
on
the
here.
hosts, get
Layers
geeky
of
with
deep.
you.
Oh.
Who's here? Who's here? Well, no one at the moment. Just me and my pal Craw. I'll introduce him in a second.
No,
we
it's
normally
not
do
that.
have Sash.
Here we go.
Fail!
Oh god, that's what they call a fail.
Yeah, we'll book that up and we believe you though. What's the name of the episode we need to listen to though?
The episode's Neil Before Pod, episode 58, Two-Headed Spot Cocks.
Excellent.
Go on there and see if you can find the Easter egg. It's in the first 3 minutes of Chris's laugh.
Because there is a thing.
Because that's the episode when you talk about it.
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was actually
There's an
Easter egg in there. Oh,
It's right in the intro.
Okay, all right.
Look forward to listening to that. We'll put a link in the show notes
re-listen
to
to
everyone.
that because we are on Kneel Before Pod episode 60.
That's right.
The Chris and Sam Apocalypse.
Chris
Yes.
and Sam Apocalypse.
That's the one.
Which could be its own podcast.
Oh, really?
27 different podcasts.
It was pretty good. It was fun. It was fun.
We should do one on zombie apocalypse preparedness.
Oh, dude.
I feel like you've got a market there.
I totally love the zombie thing, obviously.
Really?
Oh, huge.
He's right,
Can
yeah.
we do one episode where
huge
we just
zombie
talk about,
fan.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he's right into it. He met this guy. I love the story you talk about when you went to that. Was it a conference?
We went to a conference. Carl's a trainer. And,
He's a friend.
Carl and I were trainers at Telecom at the time, and we went to a conference up in Auckland. One of these, I think it was not Social Media Club Auckland, but it was something like that. It might have been Social Media Club Auckland or Media Mingle.
You went to something.
I went to something. Anyway. So there's all these professionals there, advertising executives, all that sort of thing, and me and Carl. And Carl and I had recently finished writing Cowboys and Zombies. This is before Aliens and Cowboys and
This is
Aliens
why he's
came
got
out.
this domain.
Yeah. And it's a film that will never be made because we didn't think about budget. And chalking it up now, it costs about $200 million to frickin' film, and we don't have that cash lying around.
So apart from that,
Anyway, so we took it away, and we've got all these advertising execs and all this people around and all that. And this guy was with us, and Carl mentions DayZ, the zombie game, and this guy goes, "Are you into zombies?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're both into it." He goes, I've already sussed out 7 ways to get out of this building if they start turning from the front door." And
This is a functioning member of society.
yeah,
but on
so
top of that,
we went on for like an hour. And it's a networking event. People would come towards us, listen to us talking about chopping heads off and gutting them and what weapons would be best and all that. And they sort of go a bit blank, and then they just walk away again. So we were like this room full of networking, and there's this one table that just repelled everyone around
but
it.
this guy's got all the tactical gear as well.
I had all the tactical gear, and we decided to do a web series, and we started fleshing out how we'd do it. And it'll be a great web series if we ever do it, video web series, mini-series, and one day we will. I've got the guy's card. I can't remember his name off the top of my head now, but yeah,
He is the man
amazing.
that has all the equipment.
Oh yeah, he goes, "I've got the tactical vest and shotguns. Of course, I need my K-bar because when they come close, you got to straighten the brain, man."
Wow. I feel I would listen to that show. No shit.
Oh yeah, and then we went to innovation thing in Auckland, and one of the guys, somebody else started a zombie discussion because you have your own talks in there, and so we went along. Carl and I were in there. And one of the guys, a network engineer from Wellington, he was real super serious, and he's a big guy, he works out, got to get fit, cardio's rule number 1 and all that sort of stuff. And Dan is his name, and he's like, "Oh no, not only do I have a list of all the friends that I'm going to take with me to my shelter, I also have the order in which I will sacrifice them." So I'm like,
Are you allowed to know?
I'm not sure if I want to be on your list anymore,
So apparently there's a lot of people out there getting all this stuff prepared.
Yeah.
I just that interests me on so many levels. I know this podcast isn't A, the right forum for it. Maybe it is, or B, we don't have long enough. But we need to book this in.
Yeah, this is a conversation we need in the future.
I think we could do a subreddit, a sub Chris and Sam pod, where it's like, I think we spent an episode.
It's a Chris and Sam pod. We can do whatever the hell we like.
Zombies.
Randomness is in the name.
What about that podcast that I was telling you about, the most famous one? I always forget the name. The guy went to jail.
Oh, Serial.
Yeah.
Serial podcast.
What's happening with him now? Is he still in jail? Has everyone forgotten and moved on?
No, there's a big movement, and these people have jumped in on him, and they've put in some paperwork, and it looks like, due to his lawyer being a bit slack and then dying, apparently that's not good, they are thinking of having a it's not a full appeal process, but it's something similar.
Yeah.
And
So like a review type process.
It's like a review type process, and it's the best anyone could get in that situation.
Yeah.
So
Can I just say, like, if you were put in that situation where if you didn't do something and you got blamed and you went to jail, how hard that would be. Just for your... I often think to myself, how would I cope in that same situation?
Yeah.
It's scary, right? Because no one would believe you.
No, and there's so many cases like that. And you, as long as you're always true to yourself, I guess that's something. But I don't know. And you'd have to be realistic.
It would change you. You would be changed by the experience, because you'd trust people less and less. Obviously, you'd trust the system less and less.
Yeah.
But
totally you'd have to be realistic as well.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, this is played out.
But you have to live in the moment. You got to. Yeah, right, this has happened. I got to live with it, and I've got to do whatever I can in the way I'm doing it now.
Yep.
You know?
I just think it'd be the ultimate letdown where you would never be able to forgive others, you know?
Yeah.
You might then still be okay if you're strong enough in here, but I don't know, man. Because look at us, we all moved on from that story. That poor bugger, he's got to stay there.
Yeah.
That's the double-edged sword for me, is that as humans, you got no choice but to go forward. We're all just got to carry on.
Yeah, and your attention span is only very short. All right, we're going to wrap this up at 45 minutes on
just
my
because we have to be somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Not that we.
Oh yeah.
Well,
right. Yeah. No, we've got to meet somebody in 25 minutes, and we're in Auckland, so it'll take us an hour to get anywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. We have to go. It's been great having you on. Will. Good to meet you finally in person.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Sorry, you might want to put a disclaimer.
No, yeah, we might do. No, it's fine. It's good.
Yeah.
It's funny though because it's good.
It'll be interesting to hear what this audio sounds like, because my audio is really good and yours is a bit shit.
Oh, thanks.
So that's cool.
I don't know how to take that.
But they're sharing one microphone. I got one for myself because I'm in the front seat and they're in the back seat. So anyway.
Okay.
That's it. That is it for us. I don't know when this podcast will be released, if ever.
No, we'll work on it.
All right. So thanks again, Will, and everybody listening. Check out Will's Podfellas. Just
Podfellas.com.
Yep, go to
That's where you'll find all the mini podcasts that he's working on.
Yeah, he's got a few there, so check him out. You'll find something that works for you. And we'll catch up with him again. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
See ya.
Hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to subscribe and we'll catch you next week. Don't forget to tell your friend.